Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about an interview that broke today with J.J. Abrams from Collider. I thought this is something that a lot of people are talking about and not being too surprised about. J.J. Abrams is looking back at his time on working on the new Star Wars trilogy. Obviously, he directed the first film, The Force Awakens, which introduced us to characters like Rey and Poe and Finn and so much and Kylo Ren and so much more. And he did the Rise of Skywalker, the ending of the trilogy. And he said the obvious that we all already knew, and it's like people are saying 18 months later, and he's finally admitting to the mistakes of Lucasfilm. And that is there was no plan. There was no plan. And as if that wasn't obvious enough. Now, look, I am someone that really enjoyed the Force Awakens. And I am probably on the wrong side of the fence that says I like The Last Jedi. I think it gets unfair hatred. I get it. I've read people's reasons why. I think it's an unfair hatred. Especially Ryan Johnson just doing his job, right? He was most likely told, hey, look, a lot of fans complained that The Force Awakens, because there were a little bit of voice concerns about The Force Awakens being too much like A New Hope. Can you make this one a little bit different? We don't want to be like Empire Strikes Back Part 2. And even though that's not a bad thing to be. So what did they do? They flipped the script and they gave us some unexpected choices that a lot of people did not like and had very mixed feelings and strong reactions about, and it's all fair. Look, it's all fair game. I'm not saying nobody is wrong to feel the way they do. Me, I was mixed a little bit when I first saw it, but then the more I saw The Force Awakens, the Last Jedi, the more I grew to what was given to us, and I actually think it's the strongest of the new trilogy, believe it or not. And then we got The Rise of Skywalker, and I think everybody can agree that that one really fell flat on its face. I don't think it's terrible, but it definitely fell flat on its face. And it's kind of sad, too, because, this was supposed to be the ending of the Skywalker saga. Let's admit it. They're going to do an episode 9 or 10, 11, and 12 eventually. Let things cool down first. Let's do some of these spin-offs on Disney Plus, maybe a couple on the big screen, and then when we're ready, we'll do episode 10, 11, and 12. But right now, let's keep the Skywalker saga closed a little bit and figure out, and hopefully when they do get to a new trilogy, hopefully they plan it a lot better. Because if you look at Mandalorian feels like there's a plan. And really, the second season felt like it could have been the last season. It felt like, yeah, they just did their story. Whatever they're planning now, I'm really excited to see. They're planning out the next season, but I think they really did know that they had to end that Baby Yoda story arc some way. I think Baby Yoda will still return, little Grogu, but I think that arc of having to bring him to the Jedi, I think that storyline is now wrapped. So whatever new things they come up with him, it will be an all new plan to going forward. And I think they'll come up with a plan where now Grogu will be able to stay with Mando. Whereas when you watch Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, it does feel like they were making it up as they went. I remember all those speculation videos, including my own, that we all made. I was really hoping that Rey would be Obi-Wan's granddaughter. I really loved the idea of that theory, and I was pushing for that theory so much that when they changed it in The Rise of Skywalker and said, Last Jedi, and said, no, your parents are nobodies. At first, I hated that, but not hated, but I was disappointed. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, why does she have to be related to anybody? But then Rise of Skywalker decided, okay, let's bring it all back and say that she's Palpatine's granddaughter. And I'm like, it just didn't feel right by that point. And I had heard that Colin Trevorrow's script was a lot better because he did take into consideration what already happened in the previous two films and use that for his third film, where it did seem like The Rise of Skywalker was like, okay, let's forget a little bit about the Rian Johnson film and let's just think about what I did and try to fix some things here and there. Maybe he was lying. And at first I remember thinking, okay, maybe under J.J. Abrams it would be better, but then you realize after watching the film it wasn't executed right. And his return, Palpatine's return, should have been so much more. And you think that it would be easy to explain these things with some dialogue here and there, to say how he returned. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating looking at this new trilogy and realizing it could have been so much more, and we never even got it. I agree with people. We never even got one scene where Han, Leia, and Luke were reunited. And Mark Hamill has voiced his opinions on that as well, and it is kind of frustrating. We'll never have that now. Maybe animated? I don't know. Yeah, guys, and it came out the same year as Avengers Endgame, which that movie really, look, even if you're not a Marvel fan, you gotta admit that movie really, at least for the fans, it really hit the right spots. It did feel like a conclusion, even though we all knew it wasn't a real conclusion. We knew the Marvel Cinematic Universe was gonna keep going. But just like Star Wars, we knew the Star Wars saga or the Star Wars universe was gonna keep going. But if Endgame was the last film in the MCU, that would have been a really satisfying conclusion to the Infinity Saga. And I saw some comparison videos on the two, on Endgame and Rise of Skywalker, how similar they are and what one did right and what one did wrong. And I mean, it's true. I mean, you see all what Endgame did, all the feels and all the right moments, and how it felt like a true conclusion, that it was really wrapping things up. I didn't really feel that way with The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, it was cool. Yeah, Palpatine's back, but why is he back? And what is he doing? How did he come back? Now they're going to need Mandalorian to redeem Rise of Skywalker for us. That's what Mandalorian clearly looks like it's doing. Same thing with Star Wars The Bad Batch. It seems like it's, okay, well, let's see what we can do so that way maybe one day people will look back at The Rise of Skywalker and say, okay, now it's actually a little bit redeemed. But it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have other shows or other movies try to redeem your film. Your film should have been good right from the get-go. So, I don't know. With that being said, guys, look, leave down your comments in the comment section below. Were you disappointed with this new trilogy? I'm sure there's a lot of people that were. Look, I wasn't really super disappointed with it, but when you go from Force Awakens to The Last Jedi and then Rise of Skywalker, you do see some of the trips that it had along the way. Like, yeah, watch out for that rock. You just tripped. And it's hopping over some of these rocks, and then eventually, by the time it got to the third film, it fell. So with that being said, comment below, let me know. And guys, please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Liking always helps videos, and I could use all the support I can get, so please and thank you. And until next time, take care.